Hi, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are bringing awareness on teen dating violence. My name is Bernita Howard, the founder of SWAT, which is Survivors with a Testimony, bringing you awareness from my table, their tables virtually. Just to give you a little intro of who I am and what I do, I am an advocate for domestic violence. I am the founder again of SWAT. I am a author, I am a mother, I am a grandmother, but the title that's dearest to me is being a servant of God. So with that, I do what I do to bring awareness on domestic violence, and so I have a group of people this afternoon that is going to help us spread awareness on teen dating violence. Just to give you some information and some numbers on teen dating, nearly 1 in 11 females and approximately 1 in 15 male high school students report of being physically abused in at such a young age. It is important that we have these conversations, not once they go through it, but before, so they can see the signs, so they can come to you to let you know that I don't think that this is right. I may need some help with this situation. This is where we as parents have to have doors open when we allowing our teenagers to date so they do not go through teen dating violence. For this month, if you don't know, this month is dedicated to teen dating violence awareness. This is a month where we spread awareness, but we don't just do it this month, we do it throughout the year. So, the statistics are really high anytime they delegate a month to it. So, the next person that's going to introduce themselves is Miss Angela.
Hi, everyone. I am also a member of SWAT, and I am a survivor of domestic violence. I'm a mom of two boys, and one of them is almost in the teenage stage. He's about to be 11, and I have a 4-year-old. I am very, very determined to make sure that no other woman nor man goes through any domestic violence. So I am going to continue to bring awareness to help everybody who may be going through it that may be silent. So I will be a voice for those who are voiceless.
Our next voice that will be introducing herself will be Miss Valerie.
Well, grace and peace, kings and queens, and I want to salute the visionary of this particular platform, Queen Sister Vernita Council Howard. I salute you, my Queen Sister, for your courage, your resilience, and your zeal to continue this plight within the domestic violence community. Teen dating violence is very dear to my heart because it is part of the catalyst to the domestic violence that occurs in the adult community. And we have to address the signs so that our teenagers will be aware of the different flags, signs, and characteristics of violence when it appears, with hope that as we unite together, we can eradicate domestic violence in our homes and people's individual lives and in the community.
And our next voice will be Mr. Thomas to introduce who he is.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. I'm Damon Thomas. I am an author. I am a father of two wonderful daughters. I am the founder of the Men of Courage program based out of Atlanta, but we are global. I'm a very strong advocate for teen date violence prevention and awareness. I covered my first story back in 2012 out of Austin, Texas, where a young lady reached out to me and she lost her daughter to teen date violence. So I went out there with my team and we covered the story. So it's been ongoing for me with teen day violence, and it takes a village for something of this magnitude um, to kind of seize it. We got to get to a point to where we have to talk to our kids. We have to listen to them. We have to be that ear. We have to be them eyes. So I tell all parents who have children that are dating, we have to be there for our kids. Communication is the best tool.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining in to help spread awareness. So, what we're going to do first is we're going to discuss what teen dating violence is. I'm going to ask Mr. Thomas to let our viewers know what teen dating violence is. After we and everybody elaborate a little bit on it, we're going to go and we're going to see a video. It's called Somebody's Daughter. And then we're going to come back and, cover that and talk about it. So, Mr. Damon, can you tell the viewers what teen dating violence is?
Okay, what comes to mind when I think about teen day violence and my experiences with stories and what I've seen is teen day violence is not just physical. Teen day violence is emotional, is mental. There's a lot of people out there who are dating, who have dated that significant other, and the first thing everyone want to think of, quote unquote, is physical. No, the stories that I have seen and covered, it was a lot of it. It led to the physical piece, but it started out with the emotional, the mental, the control factor. So all these components play a factor when it comes to teen day violence. So one of them is more important than the other, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? The emotional is a beast that we know. That control is definitely a beast. And when we get down the slide in, it can start in the beginning or it can start at the end. That physical is a monster as well.
So I had before the show, I had put some things up, and one of the things that it was talking about is 29% of adolescents reported being verbally or psychologically abused within the previous year. Um, Teen dating violence can be one or a combination of the following, as he stated, physical. So we're going to talk about some things when we talk about physical, because some people just think, well, if they don't hit me, it's not physical, but shoving, kicking, spitting, pinching, those things are physical. So we need to, make sure um, when we talk about emotional, the name calling, and now with the cyberbullying, they go online and they cyberbully, they may call you out your name, they may embarrass you. We need to make sure we're having conversations with our children, explaining this to them. Um, so it's we gotta have an open communication with our children. So thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for elaborating, letting our people know, our viewers know what teen dating is. So we're gonna go. I want to share a video, and the young man name is Delta Triplet, whose song that we're gonna play. Um, a lot of times people experience teen dating violence and different things. So one of the questions that I asked I done a video this morning is, and before we go to it, I'm going to ask you guys this: is the doors open for your children to come and talk to you? Um, when they start dating, it's good that we're having these shows and educating, but how many people actually educate their children prior to them dating? How many people educate their children, so they don't go through it? So I know for me, a young mom, you know, I learned a lot from my mistakes now that I look back. So sometimes I feel like I failed my daughters because a lot of stuff I didn't want to talk about. Where now, when, with my grandchildren, those conversations will be candid. My door was open for my girls, we was growing up together, and that's not an excuse. But I have my grandchildren. The doors are open. We're going to talk about these things. Nobody's going to talk about it to them. They're going to hear it firsthand from grandma. And so how do, like, when Miss Valerie, I'm going to go with you first. The conversations, with your children, did you have them? If you didn't, is it some things that you would have changed?
She's on mute. You're on mute, Miss Valerie.
Miss Valerie, you're on mute.
There you go.
Yes,
I
very good
took care of it
question.
for you.
Very good question, Queen Vernita. As a mother of four sons, I did have the conversation, but I would say now all of my children are grown. My baby boy, he is 27 years old, and I still reference him as my baby boy. Even though I had those conversations, they were still in a dysfunctional environment where they witnessed me being a victim of domestic violence. So the conversation was had, but what they saw was different from what I was teaching them. And that's my story. But what I'm finding out now as an advocate, when I question other victims of domestic violence, especially those who have lost their sons or daughters due to domestic violence, whether it be to incarceration of being the abuser or whether it be to the victim being murdered, they never had these conversations. So it is imperative that we have these conversations prior to our teens dating. And one of the things that I am very passionate about this year is the faith based community. There has been a stigma with the faith based community not wanting to discuss teen dating violence because of the religious political standpoint that teens should not be dating. That is correct. They should not be dating, and there should be no type of dating outside of marriage. However, that's not what is happening. And because we know that that's not what's happening, the best thing to do is to have prevention methods in place. So we do need to have these conversations. Faith based Christian leaders, we need to be more open about what occurs in teen dating violence because there is a high suicide rate. When I did the studies to prepare for this show, many teens commit suicide because of things that they are sheltering and they feel they have no place to go.
Right. And that is so true. Um, it's so much that go on in teen dating. I mean, Mr. Damon, would you like to elaborate so we can also hear the male point of view?
Yeah. With myself having two daughters, I did not have the conversation with my daughters. They are 25 and one is going to be 19 next month. I didn't have the conversation with my oldest daughter until probably 3 years ago. And it was time because she was in a situation where she was dating a much older gentleman, and they had some altercations, and that's when it was a wake up call for me to say, okay, maybe this conversation should have taken place a long time ago. But as we go through as parents, one of the things I've learned is no conversation should be off limits. I mean, it's not only then or even so more so now in the world that we live in. We have to be open and honest with our kids. We really do, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on out there. From a male point of view, it works both ways. No guy should be putting his hand on any young lady, and vice versa. A young lady should not be putting her hands on a man. And I've seen it both ways with my Men Courage program. So I stress the importance of the anger, the violence. It's not okay to do those things. It's not. And I encourage those individuals that I've been around that is not okay. Okay. When it gets to that point, it's time to walk away. But my thing is this: everyone has their breaking point. And one of the frustrating things for me that I've seen by doing the mini coach program is people have to hit that rock bottom. And I tell people that rock bottom can be death. It's too late by then. I know you guys have seen so many stories as well where it's too late now. The young lady is killed or the young man is killed. We have to come to some type of peace to where we can navigate these things. We have to do more awareness, not like you said earlier, Ms. Vanita. We shouldn't just do this in the month of February. This stuff need to be done 365, 7 days a week. It's very important. We need to talk about these things, not just with our families, but within our community.
So much, and that's why it's so important for me. I know every Tuesday our organization do something, educating on abuse and the different forms of domestic abuse. We do what we can to spread awareness. Sometimes, no matter what you do, until a person go through that situation, they don't see the importance of educating themselves. But I always like to tell my team, no matter if we got one viewer, 1,000 viewers. Prevention is the key. Educating, bringing awareness to it. A lot of people didn't even know that. And honestly, even with myself, until I became an advocate, I didn't even know that teen dating violence was like, they had a month set aside for that. So, where prevention and education, was brought to the forefront. So it's important. And, I'm so glad to hear, that everybody, we should, and as Mr. Thomas said, the children in our communities are our children as well. It's, it takes a village to raise children. So we're part of that village. We should be educating them, um, and making them aware. If we see something, we should say something. And in our communities, a lot of times we're told, you see nothing, you say nothing, and you see everything. But, when we're seeing a when we're seeing it, we should bring it to the forefront. But what I'm gonna do now, because as our viewers, we're getting some technical difficulties, so I do want to go ahead and bring the video, so we can talk about it. So let me go ahead and bring that, and then we're gonna elaborate as a team. with no one to start to play your game. Your hands on her. But she's somebody's daughter. Just Okay, so for whatever reason we had technical difficulties, it went out, but I did try to let you guys listen to it. If you look at the video, and I will post it under here, so those who watch this could go back and look at it. But when it first starts out, you know, the dad, he's abusive to the mom. So the daughter gets into a relationship and it turns violent. And, she tries to hide it. She comes in or whatever. And the look the mom give her, it was really little to no help that she can offer because she had her in that environment. Even though it was with the dad, she still allowed that environment around. So when she started dating, um, it was like, it's okay. Mom pulled through it, so I can too. So what would your input be, Miss? We're gonna start with Miss Valerie and then Mr. Thomas and then Angela. You're on mute, Miss Valerie.
My my input would first be that the victim must take responsibility for their actions and their lack of courage, lack of knowledge, and lack of wisdom, and the part that they play in their teen age children, whether they are a victim or they are an abuser. That's the first part. We have to accept responsibility of what role we played as a victim. And oftentimes, a lot of times, I think parents and caregivers forget that. And once that part is acknowledged, then you have to come from a place of love, understanding, but a place of letting the victim and or the abuser know this is not right, and share your story, share your testimony, share the pain and the trauma that you experience with intention that they will receive it in a way that they will remove themselves and get out of a domestic violence environment and seek help. A lot of the domestic violence, violent tendencies are based upon underlying root causes that have not been effectively or appropriately addressed. And when we don't address trauma, especially childhood trauma, when we become adults, it begins to address us. Then they develop into what we call mental health disorders.
Mr. Thomas, your input?
Yes. Miss Valley, she's totally correct. I totally agree with her. My take on it is once we cross that line, whether it's the mother or the father or that individual, we have to take responsibility for our actions. Here we are raising kids. Our kids going to see this in the home, and then 9 times out of 10 it comes back and bite the parents because the first thing come to mind is, you know what? You let so and so do this to you, mommy. You let Mr. Joe, last the guy you was dating, you let him curse you out, grab you. We saw this as kids. So we have to take responsibility, like Miss Riley said. We have to take ownership, okay? And we have to acknowledge as individuals, A, yes, this was that situation then. I'm a different person. I will not allow this to ever happen again. I was wrong. We as parents, as individuals, as advocates, we have to walk the walk and talk the game. Okay. Um, One of the things that came to mind, I said earlier in an interview with my oldest daughter, where her start dating, and the older guy that she was dating had some altercations. So when I got the phone call, my oldest daughter was very upset. She said, "Well, mommy, you did the same thing when you were married to my daddy. I saw you put his hands on, but my daddy wasn't that type of person." So we have to be careful what our kids see. Okay. And then, which I was really surprised about, and Miss Benita, I'm very transparent. um, when my oldest daughter called me about 6 months ago, and my ex-wife was trying to diffuse the situation with my daughter and her boyfriend at the time, she said, "Well, you can't even begin to even tell me what to do. The last guy you dated, you let him grab you." And I'm saying to myself, not the person that I was married to for 15 years. What? So is again, we have to take ownership. And I believe at times it's a curse. It's a curse. And we have to break this cycle. Just because we seen our grandparents or our uncles and aunts fight, that don't mean we need to bring it into our home. We need to protect our kids as much as possible. Because what happened is they believe it's okay. Just like my daughter Witness. She just turned 25. Her thing is with my ex-wife, I'm not gonna listen to mommy. Last guy you was dating, you let him do X, Y, and Z. Why should I listen to you? And then look what you did to my daddy over the years. So people, they just don't get it. Kids see everything and they remember everything.
Angela, would you care to elaborate?
She's on mute. You're on mute, Miss Angela.
Okay, so I didn't they used to verbally abuse me, say things to me. But and then I found out that one of my family members, abused his women or whatever. So, but I didn't grow up in a home that I saw abuse. But however, the first guy that I actually dated, I do recall a time of him pinning me down to a bed in front of all of his friends. And they thought it was okay. Like they literally laughed about it. And now that I'm a mom of boys, I dare not allow my children to feel it's okay to put their hands on a woman. And I stress to them not to hit females at all. Like that is a no. So we can't allow ourselves to always be like, okay, what goes on in the house, keep it in the house, because that's as our generation, that's what we were taught. Keep everything a secret, don't talk about it. But I dare not allow my children to think that it's okay to abuse a woman or for them to be abused at all. And now that I have a son that is reaching the peak of preteen, I'm gonna make sure that I elaborate to him that he cannot allow himself to be provoked to be around someone that is aggressive or any of that sort. And I'll let my 4-year-old know as well when he gets to that age. But I tell them all the time, don't hit a woman. That is a no.
So, as parents, we have, as parents, it didn't come with a manual of to, how to raise our children, what to do, and, all of this and all of that, like everything else, when we go to the store, we buy something, it comes with a manual. It tells you how to put it together. It tells you, you need A to connect to B. It just gives you what you need to make that product work. But when we became parents, this was a learn as you go manual. Um, It's good that we can take some of the um older people advice on what to do, but man, this book is written different each and every day. And no matter what child you talk to, even those who have had the best life, are, as the young children say, living their best life, you know, um, the manual will be different for me living my best life rather than somebody else living theirs. And, with everything that children have now, where they can be abused. When we was growing up, and I'm against violence in, all forms, but when we had a disagreement, and I y'all know I believe in keeping it real, we would go out and fight. And then tomorrow we'll be friends because our mamas will make us go apologize, and you had a hug and make up. But now they take it to a different extreme. Now you got those that are using the internet. If you ever sent them anything, that should have been between you and them, it was good as long as you was friends with them. But just as soon as you have that disagreement, your baggage is leaked across the world. And once it's leaked, it's no taking it back. And our teens need to know this. Our teens, they use TikTok, they use TikTok, Snapchat, um, Instagram, Twitter, they got everything. When we grew up, we had a pencil and piece of paper that said, "Do you like me? I like you."
Yeah.
we we had that bus, or either the city bus that took us where we needed to go. But now they're prone to everything. If you look at it, and I was doing a survey last week, and I was just going in and out of stores, but children 3 and 4 years old, "Mommy, I need my phone." And they pulling out phones, they pulling out an 11 Pro, and if you tell them, say your ABCs, they could say their ABCs, but you say, "Can you recognize your ABCs?" They can't. But they could go on YouTube, they could go on TikTok, they could go and do all this stuff. So I said that to say this to our teens that are watching, and to our parents. Some things we have to take back. When you're walking around with a um iPhone 7 and your child got an iPhone 11, come on, guys. We got to make some adjustments here. We're giving them the okay to say, "Look, if somebody piss you off, you got the capabilities to destroy them." But if we take it back to, "Oh, the only way you're going to see them, you might write a note that's going to get you in trouble, but you ain't going to be able to text and destroy somebody." And we need to talk about cyberbullying. That um, when relationships are going good, everything is great. But what happens if I make you mad? I no longer want to date you. We need to talk to our children about sexting because they don't understand it. When you send pictures of your body, that's sexting. And guess what happens? We just had an incident like this. You know, um, Sexting is dangerous, guys. Once that stuff go out, and these kids are nothing like how we were when we was growing up. Like I said, hey, we might fight, but mama gonna make us make up, so we gonna be friends tomorrow. But now you got um the sexting. We got 16. We have had two cases in North Carolina where a 16-year-old girl has killed her boyfriend. This is what we're turning on the news to. That's teen dating violence. But it's a whole different other game from what we're used to. Back in our days, "Oh, you cheat on us, we get our little brothers, they're gonna go beat you up. We're gonna laugh about it. We're gonna talk about it." But now everything is streamed live. Anybody else want to elaborate? Go ahead, Queen.
I want to go back and piggyback off of something that King Damon said about the curse. And he was absolutely correct, because we have to take all of this back to the Word of God. Over in First Timothy, it says that there's going to come a time that we're going to be subjected to perilous times, and
Mhm.
individuals will become weaker but wiser. So we are dealing with a weaker but wiser generation. And we have to deal with these issues and these challenges that we as adults have partaked in, and now our children are exhibiting what we allowed them to be a partaker in.
Mhm. I
And we have
agree.
to go from a spiritual perspective, but also use common sense. And what is happening, common sense is no longer common.
It's out the door.
It is out the door. When we try to have these basic general conversations, even with our own loved ones, they don't want to see our change and our growth. They will put back in your face and in your ear gates, well, you this and you that. But we have to remember, irregardless to what they do, we must continue as servant leaders to pull down the strongholds, to cast down everything that exalts itself against the word of God. We can no longer continue to sit and pacify sinful natures just because it's a common thing. And I am a strong component and a strong believer where there is unity, there is strength. We have to unite and put aside the differences. Your skin may not be as light as the other, or you are too dark, or you're not as wealthy as the other, or you're not as educated, or you're not as financially equipped. What does that matter? Because now they are no longer like they did back when we were teenagers. Like you said, Queen Vernita, we would fight and make up within a day or two. Now they are pulling out guns and they are killing one another. They are killing their own parents. We are in the last days. And I know we've been hearing this for 30, 40, 50 years now. We in the last days. Well, guess what? We're closer to the end now than we were 30, 40, 50 years ago. And each one of us has a responsibility. And I promise myself I'm going to do the best that I can. Now, does that mean that we all are correct and we are perfect? No. No. But together as a collaborative unit, each one reach one.
Damon, I agree, Queen.
Woo! Powerful, powerful, Queen Miss Valerie. Powerful, powerful. Woo! I'm gonna go back to this. It takes a village, and I commend you, Miss Vanita, also for um, having broadcasts such as these. Because what I've seen also is you have individuals that start this, they do the broadcast, they talk about subject matters like this, and then they leave. They're just gone. Whatever it may be, whatever's going on. I get it on both sides, but I tell people if you're going to dive into issues of these magnitude, you got to keep it going. You can't just do it 1 month, then you don't see you for 6 more months. This is an ongoing process that we have to all stick together and make this thing happen. Not just with teen day violence, with everything, the mental health piece, everything, the depression, whatever we're talking about, we have to keep it going. We can't just show our face this month and then we don't hear anything else from your organization, Miss Vanessa. Like, oh, what happened to her? Even against all odds, the wonderful stuff you're doing, Queen Miss Valerie, and you're doing, Miss Angela. It's like we have to continue to keep this stuff going. We really, really do. And like I said, communication awareness is the best. We have to be in these people's face. We have to do more stuff like this so they can see this. I'm talking don't stop. Just keep driving it down their throats. That's what I believe in.
So true. And guys, I got my grandson in the background, so bear with some of the noise because he's not getting this. But um I often tell my team, we dedicate every Tuesday. We do special ones on Saturday, especially when it's certain months, to really bring it out. But we have to do this all the time, and it's so important, and that's why I don't take it lightly when we have people who are willing to come forth and spread the awareness. So we're gonna take this to a whole different other level. Um, I see Mr. Thomas stepped away, but we're gonna talk about well, Mr. Thomas, I want to start with you on this one. Can you tell us what makes a healthy relationship?
Ooh. Ooh, I love that question. First thing come to my mind is the dialogue, the communication has to be there. Honesty has to be there. The trust has to be there. We're going to agree or disagree. At the end of the day, we have to be respectful to one another. You know what I mean? So healthy, quote unquote, again, the communication has to be there. The trust has to be there. We have to be there for one another. We're going to have our good days and bad days, but it does not give anyone the right to put their hands on the other one. Doesn't give that right person to disrespect the other person verbally, mentally, emotionally. Like Queen, as Angela said earlier, is a no-no. Keep your hands to yourself. I was always taught as a young man, get in your car, take a walk. I come from a very structured home. My dad, he worked in the prison system, was a warden for many, many years, retired. We were taught, don't put your hand on a young lady. Walk away, get in your car, leave the house. And that's what I did. So again, once it gets to that point where it's hostile, you got to have a conversation after things cool off and see if this relationship is really beneficial to you. You have to look out for you and you have to love you first. That's my take on it.
Miss Angela?
Um, for me, I would say you have to make sure that both individuals have communication, because a lot of relationships, people don't communicate. They sometimes keep it to themselves as to how they're feeling, and then maybe later on they may start an argument or whatever. But it's more so you should be able to have open communication. That, as far as making a healthy relationship, yeah, trust and respect, true, but you need to more so, most importantly, have open communication. Be able to talk about things that you may not want to talk about that needs to be talked about, because if you don't have that, then the individuals may be trying to figure out, like, okay, what's wrong. So it's always important to have open communication.
And just to piggyback on what you said, Angela, um, when you don't have open communication and you keep it all bottled in, it can lead to like emotional abuse. And it could lead to you having a harmful impact on yourself, the way you treat them, you know what I mean. And communication is key, because they might say it one way and it might not be meant that way. And one of the things that I hate is texting, because the way I perceive it might not even be the way that sending it. And that's the key. If you talk to any teenager, most of them don't talk. Well, I'm going to text you. No, let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk about it. I don't need you texting me, because you text me. How can I guarantee it's you texting me? And my children even now know. Um, I will send them a message. Look, I don't do this text. I need to hear your voice. Through a text, you can cover things up. And as parents, we need to stop saying, well, I talked to them because they text me. Are you sure they text you? You know, um, yeah, my children have a certain way that they text, but guess what? If they text you long enough, you know how they text too. So you can intervene and step in and pretend to be them. That's how I think. I hate text. Um, I need to know how you feeling. I can tell it in your voice. I can tell it in your, in your attitude. I can't tell anything in texting. And then too, with texting, you might be saying it one way and I take it a whole different other way. So now I'm in my feelings. I don't want to help you, or you might not want to help me because of my response. And it was never that way. So communication is real important. Queen Valerie, do you have any input?
You kind of put the nail to the head. What I was going to say to add to the effective communication is we have got to be more affectionate, show more love in our households. Now it's more sex from these electronic devices. You turn on the television and they are just having all kinds of sexual acts. Men with men, women with women, men with. It's time to turn off the electronics, get back to the traditional times of getting around the table, and let's have dinner. Let's put the board games out, turn off these electronic devices, and let's have some candid conversations and some quality time. How about let's get in the kitchen and cook some cookies, make a homemade cake. And while we're making this homemade cake, we can have these conversations. We have left a lot of tradition that we need to bring back. And that goes right back again to the word of God. We have left our first love. We have begun to wax cold. And it's time to return back to the foundation that God intended for us to operate in, which is love. Love is the greatest gift of all. Love conquers the multitude of sin. We should no longer be afraid to be affectionate in our households. How many children see their mother and their father be affectionate? Now siblings, the best way for them to handle disagreements, siblings fight. And there's a part that we need to bring up too, because teen dating violence is not always hitting. There's some narcissism and some control factors there, which can be even more damaging than getting a black eye. There is so much that we as a community need to address, we as the village. So my question would be to those that are listening, as we are continuing to say, it takes a village to raise a child. Where is the village? It's time to call the villagers back on the scene.
That right there, Miss Valerie, was real deep. The question is, where is the village? Our theme is, what about our children?
Yes.
What about them? If we're not doing what it takes to bring goodness, to educate them, to bring prevention, to keep them from being harmed, you know, to me, when we was growing up, the village was there. They took care of us. You felt the love. You know, there was one that was gonna take all the cheer in the church. I mean, and I'm just keeping it real. I seen times my grandma would load her station wagon up, and we'll be all in the back part of the station wagon. No seatbelt, but we were back there. You know, we was loaded up to go get the word. Um, every Sunday we had family time with all the youth. Once you became a certain age, All of us went to the $1.50 movie. That Saturday, all the kids was at mama and grandma house, and we cooked, we baked cookies, we sing, you know, we played our board games. There was plenty of times like as a family, man, and I remember growing up. The newspaper filmed us, took pictures of us playing stickball. Um, but we was doing it as a family. We was having good, genuine fun. You know, um, we was there for each other. We can go and talk and say, "Hey, this is going on. This is bothering us." But now, some of these children really don't have that outlet, and I don't mean to. Y'all know me. I keep it real. When you got a child having a baby at 18, grandma is probably 30, great grandma is probably 45, great great grandma is probably 52. It's some issues there. And we talk about generational curses, and that's one of them. Teen pregnancy is high. But if we're not talking about it, and JoJo down the street is talking about the body parts, but we're at home calling it a cookie or a lollipop. And when they come and address the situation, oh, well, baby, don't go in the cookie jar. That ain't even the cookie jar they talking about.
Right.
And I've always been real with my children. My mama always taught us, she said, don't give it no names. Tell them what it is. Give them the book name for it and give them the street name.
Right. That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
and that's important. And a lot of these children go into dating as a teen and really don't know their body parts. But the school will teach them a generic part, but nobody's teaching them what a healthy relationship is. You know, and a lot of them, let's just be real, are not seeing a healthy relationship at home. And a lot of times we say, well, a healthy relationship is the mom and the dad. No, a healthy relationship can be the mom and the dad, the mom and the aunties, the mom and the aunties, or the dad and who, you know what I mean? And so it's so many children with step parents now, and everybody's not stepping to the plate. Some is just stepping to get the meal with mama or the meal with daddy, and the kids are excluded. So, a lot of that plays into what we're seeing when it becomes teen dating. Because if all I see is you fighting, that's as soon as a problem arises, I turn to the anger. Wait, baby. I turn to fighting. So that's why forums like this is so important. Our children is important. What are we going to do about our children? What are we going to do to keep our children to help those that are struggling raise theirs? Are we going to sit back and say, well, that's not my child, I'm not going to say anything? But if it was my child, I would tell them this. No, that's your child. You're part of the village. Say something. I said all that because when I look at statistics, nearly 1 in 11 females and approximately 1 in 15 males in high school students, that has been reported. So let's get this clear. These are statistics based on what was reported. Do y'all realize how many do not report? Because if they go and tell it, they might be told to stop lying. They might be told, oh, you're just mad right now. That person was good to you. They might not have that support. Or if they went and told it, they was re-victimized so bad that they just left it alone. So statistics say 1 in 11 females and 1 in 15 males students report physical dating violence. 1 in 9 females and 1 in 36 males report sexual dating violence in the last year.
Yeah,
Not in the last 5 years, but in the last year.
that's right.
So, as part of this village, what can we do to help with prevention of teen dating violence? And Queen Valerie, I know you're working on something, so let's get it out there, because it's not about what organization do it; it's what we can do together to reach more children, to reach more parents, to reach more teens. Get the word out there, get them aware, get the prevention out there, and reduce our numbers.
That's right.
But I know you're working on something. If you care to elaborate here,
The biggest thing that Against All Odds Still I Rise right now is working on is bringing education and awareness and promoting unity. We have got to become unified. And as you said, Queen Vernita, we have got to get away from, well, that's King Damon, that's his organization, or that's Queen Vernita's organization, or that's Queen Angela's organization. Remove whose organization it is,
Right.
and be about the mission,
Right.
not about the position or the person.
exactly.
We are
Say
too
that
caught up
again.
on the individual, and we are failing to have an effective mission, which is preventing us from effectively uniting.
Mm.
We are divided. There is a cliche that says, united we stand, but divided we fall. We are failing our children. The prison industry is becoming wealthy off of our ignorance and lack of uniting effectively. The faith-based community, I call them out again and going to continue to, because the church is the foundation of the earth. And when we cannot go to the church to receive proper, effective embracing and transformation, there is an issue here. We no longer can attack these things from a judgment perception. We got to become authentic. We got to become passionate and driven by God's purpose. And God's purpose is that we live in love and unity. And we are totally against that. That's why over there in 2 Chronicles, it says, if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways, then and only then will I heal the land. So we have got to take responsibility. We are the village. Our children are crying. They're needing us. As we are having this platform right now, there is some young girl somewhere being caught up in sex and human trafficking. There's some young boy somewhere abusing some young girl. There's some group of teenagers plotting to go and shoot somebody tonight. There's a social media brawl going on, and there's cyberbullying. But are we going to continue to sit back and say, oh, no, I'm not going to support that because that's against our lives, and Valerie's the one that pushes that. I don't like her.
Right.
Or I'm not going to support that because Men of Courage is run by King Damon, and I don't really like his attitude.
Right.
Right.
It's
Right.
time to support the mission.
Mm-hmm. That is powerful.
Powerful. Powerful.
Real
Yeah.
powerful.
Powerful.
Because it's time that we all pull together. Um,
Mm-hmm.
our children deserve better.
Yes, very powerful.
Our children is our future. And until we stop thinking about I and me, and start thinking about our children, what we can do to better their lives. You know, I think Angela said it before. We was taught what goes on in our household stays in our household. No, we can't. We can't. We gotta pull together. I remember starting the platforms and people was like, "Oh, you're gonna let them announce their organization? Why not?
That's right.
I can't do this by myself.
That's right.
It takes all of us." Damon, no, I'll pick up the phone. Hey, bro, I got a question. I don't understand this. They're telling me I need. That's what it's about.
That's right.
I got somebody that need counsel. They need it back. I know where to turn to. You know, I tell the faith-based community all the time. They say pray about this and pray about that, and you gotta have faith, but faith without works is dead. My team will tell you that's my thing. You gotta do something. You know, um, God gives us wisdom. He gives us common sense. We gotta do something. Do it. We can't just keep relying on, I'm just pray. God gives you common sense. When He gives it to you, use it.
That's right. That's right.
It's easy to blame somebody. I ain't do it because Pastor didn't say go for it. I'm just real. And our children, man, our children. And I say again, I'm taking back to where I was. They're so open to so much that my heart goes out to them. Because again, we would fight. Mama make us hug and make up. We was friends by next week. Now, it's taken to a whole different level. As Queen Algama said, our children are faced with human trafficking, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, cyberbullying, bullying in the schoolhouse. They're faced with a lot. And there's nothing. I remember growing up, we had sports world. Some of the kids were like, what's that? We had ice skating. We had a $1.50 movie. And, I do understand with COVID-19, there's a lot of things. But even before COVID came, we wasn't doing anything. Everything is microwave now. We don't have to go out to eat. We can do DoorDash, Real Good, whatever. Everybody's ordering something different. Our schedules, we don't make family time. Wait a minute, son. I'm sorry, guys. We don't have family time. Everybody's eating different. Everybody's on a whole different understanding. Let's take our village back. Let's bring our village back into our homes. Let's dedicate time. If COVID-19 has taught you nothing else, it taught you to be on lockdown. Come in.
Yes.
It taught you we should value those that we're in the house. And there's families. And we wonder why the teens don't communicate. When the mother is texting the child in the other room, can you come bring me something to drink? No conversation. Or go to the store, get me this. No, my card is in my pocketbook, or my card is in my wallet. Okay, they go do what you tell them to do. They drop it off to you. No conversation. But we got to get better. Hold on, guys. Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
I don't go ahead, and then I'll go ahead after you do what you have to do. You good?
You can go ahead.
Okay. A couple of things. I want to go back to what you said about the texting, and I totally agree with you. Where the world is going with our kids and what have you, I totally agree. I told my two daughters the same thing. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a text sometime. Hey, good morning, daddy, checking me, boom. But as far as anything after that, hey, we need a FaceTime. I need to see your face. I need to know what's going on. I need to feel your energy. I need to feel your soul. I need to know what's going to make sure you are okay. We're 4 hours away. And I didn't make sure both of you guys are okay. So all this texting and stuff, they already know. I don't play them games. We need to have a conversation. Okay, that's first. One of the things that get to me too, as well as this subject matter here, is people want to get involved when it hits home. Mm-hmm. You know, my Aunt Sue on lost my nephew. Oh my God, my niece to teen day violence. Oh, I want to get involved in this. Where were you before? My thing is, it shouldn't take for something so detrimental, so horrific to happen for you to get involved in this. You know what I mean? Because it affects everyone. You know, it affects everybody. And that's one of my biggest things. Get involved. Don't wait till it hits home. Okay. We got to have the conversation. We all have our good days and bad days. And I want to piggyback off of what Queen Valerie said. Long as you're professional, you're honest, you're genuine with me, I'm good. We're going to have our days. We may get on the phone, man. Miss Vina may get on the phone. Like she said, she'll call me in a minute. Hey, I need to talk to you about this. I may have one of the days where I may get snappy that day. She know that's not me. But long as you're professional, long as you're living an honest life, it doesn't affect my household or my business, I collaborate with you all day long. But those other entities, those red flags, you living a dishonest and all, is it going to affect? I don't have no part in it. But I believe what Queen Valerie said. We have to get off of these titles. We have to get off our organizations. And like she said, I may have an attitude one day. That don't mean I'm the worst person in the world. You have to fill that situation out if you want to continue work with that person. Gotta let you know if it's okay. Okay. I sent you a interview, Miss Vanita, a few weeks ago of the Teen Day Violence, and I'm gonna touch on that real quick. That really hit me back in 2012 when I was called to go to Austin to do that story. For several reasons. One, I didn't know it was that deep. Of course, death is deep. But when I got there, my team got there. We stayed 4 days there. The young girl was killed in high school by her ex-boyfriend. Awesome football player. The ladies loved him. She broke up with him. He wasn't having it. He was controlling. Started off with you're not wearing makeup. I don't like the dress you have on today. That's how things start. She said, oh no, I got to break up with him. It's getting worse. He ended up stabbing her on the staircase after school at 3:25 on a Friday, stabbed her 8 times. My team went up to the school. We got the phone call. We covered the story. We even went to when the mom finally got the tombstone in. 7 years later, she wanted this special butterfly tombstone that was shipped from China. She said, I need you on your team here. We went there. And the thing about it is, to me, as a cause and effect, what we went there to do was awesome. Okay. But she had an older daughter that stopped talking for years after she lost her little sister. By my team and I going there and being so supportive, it brought her out of her depression, the sister. And when you watch that video, I don't know if you've seen it, the mother states that in the interview. That just moved me. She said, you have to come back here every June 9th. That's when her daughter's birthday was. To lose a daughter to an ex-boyfriend of teenager, he's still in jail to this day. And the thing about it is, one more thing, she said, Damon, I was probably like 45 minutes, an hour away from Austin. And I moved to Austin. My daughter wanted to go to this high school so bad. And I was like, okay, I'm going to move, relocate, yada, yada. And she did it. She said, Damon, and then my baby girl get killed. She said she carried that with her every day. If I would have never moved, relocated to that school. This would never happen. So this stuff is serious. And I tell people, even it hit me a couple years ago when I got a phone call from my ex-wife about my 25-year-old. It's like, wait a minute, I do this every day. Now I'm just hearing about my daughter is involved with a 52-year-old. I'm 52. And he's verbal abusive. He's putting us stuff. I said, oh, no, no, no. You weren't raised like this. You was not raised like this. So everybody have to hit their rock bottom. I had to be dad. Then I had to separate what I do because it was my daughter. But I still came to her like, hey, listen, this is real stuff. And I made it clear, I'm not burying you. I am not going to bury you. So whatever kind of help I need to get you, we're going to get it. But this here is not going to work. Sorry about that.
Oh no. I've been there. Matter of fact, I was doing was it Angie? It was October, November. We was actually doing a live broadcast and every device in here was going off. Could not understand it. My daughter was at the breaking point from an abusive relationship and was talking about putting my babies in the car. And she was like, if we make it, we make it. So imagine being an advocate. You're advocating for everybody else. And this hits, it hit home, and um I remember just crying. I couldn't get myself together. I couldn't get there. But let me tell you, people from everywhere in North Carolina went and got my child, got my children, my grandbabies, and brought them to me. So this work is important,
Yes.
and again, when it hit home, it's like, oh my gosh, and I remember that night questioning God, like, you allow me to help everybody else. And when
Mm,
this happened to my own child, I
mm.
couldn't get there. But let me let you know what he allowed me to know. You can't get there.
I can.
But
Oh,
I sent my angels there.
oh, yes, 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 yes. Mm, mm, mm.
He said, What would we done to why would I allow you to lose you and those babies? Because you wasn't stable enough to go. Then to send my angels. And that's what he done. So um and I talk to my daughter, we talk about this. I'm an open book. And I tell the children all the time, we just had an incident where one of my babies, one of the young girls, she sent a picture to a boy and they went on Instagram and showed it. So now, got the police involved, it's a lot. But that became these children didn't realize all 17 that was on that Instagram live has to talk to the police now. So I want these kids to really understand, and I hate saying kids, I'm sorry, these children to understand. Be careful of your actions.
Yeah.
It can cause you to have a criminal case before you're truly ready. And that's why I say parents, a lot of times I'll be like, oh God, I'm out and I'm fighting, I'm doing this, but God, sometimes I feel like I fail my own children.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
But that push is so real. And that's when that night, when he allowed the people to be there for my daughter. So when we first started the organization, it was called Breaking the Silence on Domestic Violence. That night, God laid in my spirit to change my organization to SWAT, Survivors with a Testimony. I don't just have a testimony, but my baby is going to have an awesome testimony when she come forward.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, I can't even imagine, God allowing her to drive, losing my daughter and three babies.
Mm, mm.
And it took me back to my own situation. I was 17 when I got married. I convinced my dad, I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. And I convinced him. He kept saying, Vernita, you don't have to do this. Vernita, you don't have, Daddy, this is what I want to do. That's what I thought I wanted to do because I see my parents with an awesome relationship. I see my sister with an awesome relationship. So, okay, well, this is what marriages is all about. I got married as a teen and he changed. So my children saw the abuse. And so I remember when my daughter was young, when she was her last year of high school, she was liking a boy. She was like, Mom, we thinking about getting married now. Don't. He's gonna change on you. And what did he do? He changed. She went off to college, she got pregnant with my oldest grandson, the one y'all keep hearing in the background. And it was like I was angry with her when I first found out she was pregnant. The day that the doctors came in and told me it was a boy, and I heard his heartbeat, I felt like God gave me back my son that I lost through domestic violence. So not only do I have one grandson, I have three. So God has gave me all three, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That's how I see my babies. You know,
Yes.
SWAT is the voice for Christopher Jr. You know, he didn't make it, but because I did, his voice is loud and it's heard. I didn't get a chance, and so I say this to parents. I didn't get a chance to raise my son. I didn't get a chance to even bring my son home. And I was still a teen mom. Teen dating violence is like really personal for me because I went through it. Some people could tell somebody else's story, but I could tell mine.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
So that's why I advocate the way I do. And I'll say to parents, again, the signs are there. The red flags are there. When you got a child that all of a sudden has been isolated and they was a bubble, pay attention, baby. Start asking questions. I'm not saying to be your child's best friend, but be friendly enough that they'll be willing to talk. You know, do anybody else want to elaborate on, because y'all, I get emotional on the signs that parents can look for?
Miss Angela. Miss Angela.
Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
Miss Angela, did you have something?
I can't hear you. Hold on.
Did Miss Angela have something? Okay, can you hear me?
Okay.
Bernita, can I piggyback on what you just said?
Yeah.
So as Bernita just stated,
For some reason, guys,
I'm
everything want to
also
go
a
out.
mom. I lost a child to domestic violence.
But do anybody else want to elaborate
And
on the signs?
I
Can you guys
actually
hear me?
he was in my
Mr.
life for 2
Damon?
years,
It's Angela.
and so it's very heartfelt to be able to watch.
You there, Miss Angela? Miss Angela?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I was saying, I was gonna piggyback off of what Vernita said. I also lost a child due to domestic violence, and now what I see is people don't,
Angie, we can't
they
hear
don't want to
you.
tell their children that they love them.
Yes, we
And
can hear.
me having 2 sons, I make sure I tell them daily that I love them. I make sure that I always tell them every day and every night that I love them. And because it's important to be able to tell your children that you love them. And to me, being able to have, I'm not sure why. I have everything up.
We can hear
Can
her.
you
We
hear
can
me
hear you.
now?
Yes,
We
I
can
can hear
hear
you.
her.
We
We
can
can
hear
hear
her.
her.
Hmm. Go ahead, Miss Angela.
Okay, so I mean, I just think it's important to be able to tell your children that you love them. It's important to be able to tell your children that you love them. I'm grateful to be able to have my two boys, to be able to tell them that I love them. And my youngest son, I actually see my son that I lost in him, like, all the time. Like, everybody says that he looks just like his big brother. And so my thing is, I'm gonna be a voice for Christoph Jamal Dudley. I'm gonna make sure that people know that it's not okay to be abused. It's not okay for a man or a woman to take a child's life. And so I make sure daily that I tell my kids that I love them. And so I would say to any teen boy or girl that's being abused, just know that people love you. Even though you may feel you don't love yourself, you may feel your self-worth is down. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are enough because God says you're enough. Know that someone loves you. And more than anything, know that God loves you. And if no one else tells you that they love you, just know I, Angela Denise Dudley, love you because you're genuinely and made by God. And you are beautiful. You are handsome.
So as you guys can see, our team has been hit. Angela is part of my team, and so it's it's real personal. Um, I try to do them all the time without crying, but there are kids that are really hurting, and we've been there. As parents, we gotta do more. We gotta talk to them. We have to know our children. We got to have these conversations, just not on this platform, but in your homes. You want your child to be able to come to you and talk to you when they're going through. So don't just shut them down. Listen. To be the best advocate in the world, one of your greatest, um, one of the greatest things that you need to be is the best listener ever. Sometimes as parents, we're ready to voice our opinions because when little JoJo come in the house, we already feel that we don't like them. Or when little Susie Q come up, because 9 out of 10, we know what grandma, we know what they about. We try to label them. But have a conversation. So, and be careful what you allow in front of your children. Because if you allow the abuse, a lot of times they are trapped to what you allowed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. We use the internet for everything. We Google this, we Google that. Well, if you don't understand what love is, Google it. Love doesn't hurt is one of the first pictures that's gonna come up. A heart. It's nothing broken about it. When you look up love, it's a heart. But then when you look up a broken heart, it's separated. So if that person is breaking your heart, separate yourself from that. I tell my children that all the time. When your heart is genuine, it's together. When somebody begins to play with your emotions, play with your feelings, your heart begins to separate. When your heart begins to separate, you need to separate from that problem. And that problem could be that person. Will your love go away as soon as you separate? No, it won't. Statistics say it takes 7 to 10 times before someone leaves their abuser. But when you have a teen dating, that seventh or that 10th time, they might not make it out. When I do, when we're in house and everybody's together, I always have a picture of a coffin. The reason being is because I often ask the question, do you want to leave like this or do you want to leave like that? When we're talking to our teens, we have to be real with them. If you find yourself in an abusive situation, baby, two things gonna happen. Two things that can happen. You can leave broken or you can leave rolling in that. Pick your choice. As parents, we gotta open our doors back up. We gotta have our conversations. We have to make them feel important. We have to make our children feel loved. As Queen Valerie said, the greatest of all is love. And if they can't feel it from their parents, they go into the street. And the love that the street give them is not love at all. But they'll settle for it just to have some feeling of it. As we begin to wrap this up, I know we couldn't get into all our questions and everything. But as King Damon said, we do our talks all the time. Every Tuesday, SWAT is here bringing you something, some form of awareness. Shh. I'm sorry, y'all. My little king is down here. He want to talk to grandma. He want that quality time. But we have to take our families back. We have to start sitting down with our teams. And I will say this: my first date was with my dad. My dad. You know, we still do our father daughter. Outings, and I don't take it lightly. You know why? He set an example for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I straight, I straight away, I want it to be grown. But guess what? He laid a foundation. And I knew that when I wasn't being treated that way, guess what? Something won't right. But the door was always open. And even now, at 40 plus, I can still go talk to my dad about my problems. I can still go to my dad and get that advice. So I say to moms out there, open a door where your children can come face to face talk to you. To the dads, open the door. Don't allow statistics to have our children. Don't allow the prison system to take over our children, to determine what time they get up, what time they lay down, to determine what education they get. Let's be that village. Allow them children to know, hey, I'm here for you. We got to do more. We got to do more in our communities. And again, we got to be able to collaborate so we can help each other. Everybody is in a different community. But at the end of the day, if Queen Valerie having a program, we should be able to bring it to North Carolina. If I'm having a program, Damon should be able to take it to Atlanta.
That's right. That's
Guess
right.
what? And we helping children around the globe. It don't matter. Let's continue to pull forces. Let's get our children educated. We're going to do more together. So y'all might as well get sick and tired of me and my team. But it's okay. But we're going to continue to collaborate. We're going to continue to have these conversations. We're going to continue to work and let our communities know. Listen, we here. As y'all know, Damon to get on a flight right now.
Look,
No
my
problem.
suitcase. I got a suitcase packed already. Anyway, you know me.
You know, and there's no issue. Y'all know if y'all need me, just let me know time of day. I'm coming. So let's continue to work together, collaborate. Let's continue to get our youth involved. Go ahead, Miss Valerie.
I want to read this declaration that when I was doing research to prepare for this presentation, I came across it and it really, really touched me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's saying it's the Youth Declaration by religious and spiritual leaders to address youth relationship violence. We acknowledge, as national spiritual leaders and religious youth leaders, that youth in our faith communities are experiencing relationship violence and are exposed to domestic violence in their families. We acknowledge that our denial of these problems, lack of communication, and comprehensive teaching on healthy youth relationships and domestic violence have contributed to youth violence and exposure. We acknowledge that as faith leaders, we are responsible for creating and sustaining communities where the well being of our youth is and should be a priority. We acknowledge that to date, there has not been an holistic approach to deal with teen relationship violence where faith communities play a key active role. And I'm including the word active. We commit ourselves to draw upon our sacred texts and practices for the work and ministry of modeling and teaching safe and healthy relationships for youth. We acknowledge that youth are engaging in intercultural and interfaith relationships. Therefore, we commit to find opportunities to engage youth at these various access points of their lives. We commit to prioritize our time, our talents, and our resources to fully address youth relationship violence and exposure to domestic violence. We, the village, call upon people of all religious aspects and spiritual traditions to join us. This to me was very, very powerful. And if I had to leave anything, I wanted to leave this declaration and I can scan it and email it to you, Queen Bernita, you, King Damon, Queen Angela, anyone that needs it, I would gladly scan it and email because I believe in sharing. I also wanted to leave one point that I'm not going to say we omitted, but it's going back to child adverse experiences. Even if a child doesn't see, and I'm talking about toddlers now, because I have 5 grandchildren. My youngest is just 6 months old. My oldest will be 16. And even if the 6-month-old hears mommy and daddy fighting and fussing, they begin to develop child adverse experiences that if go untreated, become traumatic experiences to them, which can lead them to becoming a victim and or an abuser. It is time to wake up, everybody. I think that was Teddy Pendergrass that sang that song. May he continue to rest in peace. If there is nothing else that the listeners have heard on this forum today, it's time to wake up and stay woke. COVID-19, yes, has brought us many, many traumatic experiences and challenges. But COVID-19 has also brought us some blessings. It's made us sit still.
Mm-hmm.
It's given us the opportunity to congregate within our own households, within our own personal selves. It's time to stop doing this here and take that finger that is on the opposite side and put it back to you. And take self-inventory of you. What can you do to make things better? I want to say to you, Queen Bernita, I thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope and pray that we can all continue to collaborate, be a voice for the voiceless and the muted. And even on next Sunday, February the 28th at 5 o'clock p.m., Against All Odds has produced our own talk show called Let's Talk About It. There is a mother that is going to be sharing her powerful, painful story of losing her daughter in Fort Campbell, Kentucky in October of 2018. And I would like for you all to register. You can go to the Against All Odds page to get the Zoom registration link and join in and support this mother. She really needs the community to embrace her. If there's anyone in the mental health community, I'm stressing that they please show up. She wants therapy. And when you have a person that's crying out for therapy, and I'm trying my best to keep my emotions together because, you know, we as a people of color, religion has kind of tainted the fact that there is a positive side of receiving therapy. But when you have a person that says they want therapy, there should be no reason that they cannot be providing it. So we need the therapists that are licensed, clinical, and professional.
Damon.
Please, King
I'm on
Damon,
it.
if
I'm on it. Let's talk. I just
next
sent you my
Sunday
number.
at 5 o'clock p.m.
Okay.
And when I say the story, it touched me.
This Sunday.
The 28th.
28th.
February the
Okay.
28th at 5 o'clock p.m.
Okay, good. I'll be back in town. I'm traveling, but I'll be back in Atlanta at 1 o'clock. So I'm good.
It's a Zoom. It's going to be on Zoom, and I have it posted on my personal page as well as in the Against All Odds Still I Rise page. And Queen Bernita, I can also email it to you.
Yeah, definitely email it to me. I actually want to put it up under this one, and I will also share. I think it's already on SWAT's page,
Okay.
but we will definitely keep sharing it. And I will put it in my story. Whatever I need to do to help.
It was a
That's
brutal
what we're
murder.
gonna do.
A brutal, when I say a brutal, it happened right on base, and it happened in Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And this mother is in excruciating pain. And I just I need us to surround her.
Okay.
I
I
need
will
us to
definitely be
surround her.
there.
Thank you.
I
I
will be
appreciate
on.
y'all. I love you all with the love of God. May God continue to strengthen us. And I want to say to you, Queen Vernita, be not weary in well doing, for in due season ye shall reap if ye faint not.
Mhm.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Damon, closing words.
Woo! This was powerful, you guys. Whoa. And Miss Vanita, you know it take a lot to move me. This was powerful. I thank everybody. I appreciate you, foremost, Miss Vanita, for inviting me, having a conversation with me as well. Miss Angela, nice meeting you. I definitely want to have a conversation with you about some things, Miss Angela. I left my number in the inbox here, Miss Angela. I definitely want to have a conversation with you. Miss Queen Valerie, nice seeing you. Nice seeing you. Nice seeing you. Nice seeing you. I left my email address also for the declaration. And I'm here, you guys. You already know. It takes a village. I have a team, not just in Atlanta, but all over the world with this therapy piece. And I'm here for them. It's men of courage, but let me tell you something. I'm here for the men. I'm here for the women. And we've been getting so many submissions for females needing therapy. And Miss Vanita, I can't turn them away. So they're getting therapy. I got a 9-year-old girl on therapy right now. So let me tell y'all something. This stuff is real. We got to continue supporting one another. Like I said, my motto is this: we're going to agree and we're going to disagree, but we need to be respectful. And I tell everybody on my team, we're going to agree and disagree, but we need to be respectful for everybody that we come involved with. Okay, so I thank everybody that's been on this broadcast. Like I said, Miss Vanina, you talk, we're not talking. Miss Angela, nice meeting you. Queen Valerie, you know, you and I've had several conversations. Nice seeing you here. It was God. Thank you. I got a chance to see you, but I'm here, you guys. I'm just a phone call away. Like I said, we're back to filming next month. Filming 5 stories. There's a lot going on. We still doing the therapy behind the scenes, you guys. So let me tell you something. It's always something to do. We need to get more involved. And like I said, let's not stop here. We need to continue doing this. We will support you, Queen Vanita. Again, thank you guys for the opportunity, Miss Vanita. Thank you, Miss Angela. I definitely want to have a conversation with you as well, Miss Angela. But thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Oh, guys, and Damon didn't say, but he just got a certificate. I think I'd be so excited. Like, I wanted to share it, and I was like, well, he's coming on the 20th, so we're going to share it then. But please tell them what you just got. I'm so excited.
Thank you. It was very intense. I was in Charlotte 3 weeks ago, and it was a very intense training for clinical hypnotherapy. I completed the highest degree of clinical hypnotherapy, and I needed to do that because of what I do with Men of Courage. Yes, my team, they're licensed, yada, yada, yada. But me being the founder and everything, my stuff had to be on the up and up as well. So by law, I have all my credentials as well. Okay, so I thank you for the support, Miss Vanita. I appreciate it. It was good. I got 3 more. I'm doing 3 more, about to knock out 3 more, and guess what? After that, I'm done. But I appreciate everybody. I really do, you guys. Thank you.
Yes, Angela, closing remarks.
I would just who is, being abused, just know that there are resources and that people are here to help you, and that you don't have to continue going through the abuse because people are there to listen. Sometimes you don't want to talk to your parents, but there are other people that can help you, that will encourage you, that will, make sure that you're okay and everything. But just know that, you are worthy, and that it's not okay to be abused.
That's right.
And remember that God loves you no matter what, and that you can cast all your cares on him because he cares for you.
So I want to say to all of you, thank you so much for joining in to bring candid conversations all the time. Thank you guys so much for the encouragement. So to my teens out there, as you heard today, we are part of your village. Reach out to us. We're all on social media. Um, if it's one that you can't find, all you have to do is reach out to SWAT, which is Survivors with a Testimony Inc. On Facebook, it's SWAT Inc. 2020. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. Send us a message. We will Tumblr. Everything is SWAT Inc. 2020 YouTube. So send us a message. All our information is scrolling down. You can also go to our website and send us information there. But to our teams, we are here where we have our listening ears on. We will help you develop whatever you need to, even if it's going to talk to you with your parents about whatever you have experienced. I want to say to my teens, be careful of your action towards your peers. Just know that if you do anything that can embarrass someone, bully someone, there are consequences that can be taken, and there are legal consequences. So always say to yourself, before I do this, what will the consequences be? Think before you act. That is the key thing to anything that you do in life. I also want to make it known to my teens, and to my young ones that's out there, my adolescents. Um, your social media sometimes is your resume. Be careful what you put on social media. You never know who's following you, you never know who's listening, and you never know who's watching your page. The job that you deserve might not be the job that you get because of what you post on social media. Um, and I know most of you think you are smart. You done change your little name and you done change this, but a lot of times when you go to your friends and you ask them and they comment on your post, that employer can see it as well.
Mhm.
So, let's go back to being respectful. If you're in a relationship that person do not respect you, they want to control what you do. They want to control how you talk, how you act. Baby, that's a controlling situation. Separate yourself from it. If you
Mhm.
don't know how, seek help. That's what we're here for. As I stated throughout this broadcast, it's not just about SWAT, but you got Against All Odds. You have Men of Courage. You got, you got us here. Let us help you. I thank you guys for tuning in again. Um, if you have any questions for us, you can always send us messages. Make sure you guys tune in next Sunday as Against All Odds. We'll be bringing a broadcast, and guys, it do get emotional.
Mhm.
This is not easy by any stance. Tuesday, we will be having another session. It's called Empowering Truth. And that's where many of us have overcame domestic violence and forms of abuse. And we're going to tell our story. And so be ready, have your tissues together because, baby, it get emotional. But through this process, we're healing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You all be blessed. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you to our audience. Again, we will post the upcoming events that's coming up. So stay tuned, be blessed, and you guys have an awesome rest of your day.